Hello everyone, welcome back. So tonight it's going to be a tale of undoing mistakes. So if you've ever had an experience where you've gone through and thought, this is going to be great code, this is going to be great, this is going to be great, and after putting in tons of hours on it, you realize, yeah, it's not so great. That is what has happened to me. So there was the theme brush refactor that I had put a bunch of stuff on the repo about, the material design and XAML repo, and had spent a bunch of time on a branch working through it. Lots of lessons learned. A couple streams ago, I rebased it, and I finally got back to it, and I realized, yeah, the path I was going down is probably wrong. Now, not to say the goals are wrong. I still think the goal of doing the brush rename is correct. It's just my implementation was kind of garbage. So, or at least needs improvement. So that's where I was going to go tonight and have fun powwowing on it. Couple things real quick. Couple things. So first, I have to remember how to use a computer, which is somewhat surprising. Okay, this one. So a colleague of mine showed me this earlier today, and I thought this was just absolute gold. Okay, so inside of Visual Studio Code, and I've only tested this on GitHub repos, so your mileage may vary. Open a file and right-click on any line. Copy as. This is the cool part. Have you ever wanted to just send somebody a nice little link to where the code is out on GitHub so they can go and view it? Copy remote file URL. If we open this guy, paste. That's not it. Hang on. Don't you love it when your demos go crazy? Copy as. All right. You have to tell it which remote because it knows about a bunch of remotes that I have. Okay. So I've got a bunch of remotes for this repo. So you pick the right remote. Then you go to your browser. Then you paste. And oh, this commit doesn't exist. I haven't actually pushed it. Whoopsie. We'll demo this again later. It's really cool, but if you do it on a commit, hypothetically, like the one that I'm on, that see the little computer there that means it's local only, you'll note this commit 61D15AD, right? 61D15AD. That commit doesn't exist out on GitHub, so GitHub goes, I don't know. Right. So it's very cool in that you can do it. You just should make sure that you're on a commit that's pushed to the remote when you do it. The other thing that it comes in here with is it'll actually go all the way down to the line number. And if you just want file, let's see, copy remote file URL just from right-clicking on it, which is pretty slick. Pretty slick. I was impressed. He was trying to, send me a link to some code, and I was like, hey, can you just send me the commit hash, and I'll go and pull the code up. And he showed me that, and I went jaw drop on the floor. It was cool. It was cool. Shout out to you, Andrew. You are awesome. That was it was awesome to see that. So copy as inside of VS Code, you get cool remote file URL stuff, which is slick. Okay, so let's talk material design and XAML and theming. Okay, so let's back up a little bit of where this is going. So theme brush rename. One of the pinned issues, top issues, one of the things that I had slated to come into here, kind of a pain in the neck for 5.0. There's a whole bunch of brush renames that I would like to do. So some of this is being driven by the idea that we are constantly needing new brushes. Just this week, I had one of the guys who sponsors me ask me, hey, how do I change the following brush in the library? And my answer was, yeah, you don't right now. Unfortunately, that one's bound to this other thing, and there's not an easy way to go in and change it. And yes, I could go in and plumb in that one brush for that one case. The problem is that's not going to be the end of it. There's constantly requests coming into the library of, hey, I want to be able to tweak just this color for this element inside of the template. And right now, it's kind of a pain to give people specific brushes for that. So that is part of the goal here. These top brushes, the primary and secondary ones, These are the first type of brushes that exist in the library. These are largely around the colors, right? So when you're picking your initial color thing, you've got a primary and a secondary color, you know, your blues and purples or whatever, those ones are fine. These other colors down here, or other brushes down here, are much more specific to individual areas of a control template. And these are the ones that typically people are wanting to customize. Right, so I get down into very specific things, and some of these brushes like material design, divider, selection, body is a little less problematic, but like the tool foreground, background, a lot of these ones get used in more templates than what they were originally intended for when they were first added. Because when they were first added, they were used in one place, it was fine, whatever. But then they got used in more templates and more templates and more templates. And now it's gotten kind of problematic. And so I had gone through and it said, hey, let's break these things apart. Let's give them a nice material design dot prefix, right? So when you're hunting these things down, you can just do material design dot and then dot brush and then dot wherever we're going to go after that. So the basic premise here is a lot of these are going to have 4 parts. Material design, just to disambiguate, to make sure we don't conflict with anyone else, brush, and then control, and then name of the individual brush. So background, foreground, etc. So the goal is to not nest these any deeper than 4. And then there's also the idea that if I pull, where's my other one? Wrong file. Let's see, that's the divider. That in addition to brush, we would also have the ones with color in here as well. I am very tempted to change and move color from here to here. The problem is this kind of gets a little obnoxious, and it's, at least when you're typing it, oftentimes you're going to be down, brush, dot, control, dot, and so it's kind of nice to have this nested dot color on the end, I think. Feedback welcome. Feel free to throw it on the issue. Love it all. But this is sort of the path that I'm thinking of going down. The other thing is right now, the 2 common ways of setting up your theming inside of your app is either with the custom color theme or the bundled theme. And one of the issues with going down that route is the XAML designer, because those resource dictionaries, here, I can just show it to you. Like, for example, the bundled theme, right? The bundled theme, you set a base theme, which is like your dark light. You set a primary color, a secondary color, and these are all nice. And then it does the automatic color adjustment if you want it to. But the problem is because down inside of here, it calls the set theme method, which goes and adds all of the brushes and the colors to this resource dictionary, because this thing does derive from resource dictionary. There's 0 XAML IntelliSense in the designer, which kind of sucks. Because it means all of those lovely things that's added, you just kind of have to know the names. And even as one of the people who works on this consistently, I can't remember the names, which is a strong indicator that that is not a good experience. So one of the clever tricks is if we go through and populate this dictionary, you'll note I'm populating these things and not setting them. So I'm saying, hey, there's a thing of type color. Here's the key. There's a thing of type brush. I'm not setting the color on the solid color brush. It really should just be mapped to this one. But ultimately, these things are left empty intentionally because they don't serve a purpose. They're going to be overwritten immediately as soon as this thing gets used. So, or I should say they're going to get overwritten fairly quickly after they're instantiated, but minor details. But by doing this, this now gives the XAML designer a hint. So now when you reference this thing inside of your app.xaml, you now get nice IntelliSense when you do material design dot, and you can see the list, which is great. This is where, so all of this was good. I think I did okay here. I spent a bunch of time on code that I think I'm about to burn to the ground and throw away, but this was fine. And then I went off the deep end because source generators came out, and I was like, the solution to the problem is source generators, because what is going to happen is we are going to add another brush. And the question will be, now that we have another brush, what do we do with it? right? Like when I add a new brush, I don't want to have to go and hunt down all of the places where I need to plug that brush in. Because right now I think there's 4 or 5 spots where all of those things would be plugged in. Like I would have to plug it in inside of the theme manager. I would have to plug it in inside of the, if I go over here, the light and dark themes. That's a lot of places. And frankly, I'm likely to get it wrong. So past Kevin, who apparently was an idiot, decided, source generators are the solution. And he was kind of right. Past Kevin he had the right idea, wrong implementation. The problem with source generators, and I had gone down this path of building out this generator, and there's this theme brush generator, that doesn't work, right? It generates out some code, but right now none of these things are matching. It's throwing, blah, 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 blah. And part of the problem with source generators is, the hint is in the name, they're designed to generate source. The way they work is as part of the compilation process, this is an injection point into the compilation where you can add in some code to run that will generate some stuff that gets included as part of the compilation. I'm being careful not to use the word file here, even though when you add in the source, you give it a hint name or what looks shockingly like a file name. It's not actually a file. Because this is being executed as part of the compilation, you're effectively running in memory. There's ways and settings and knobs you can turn on to have the source generator actually write out the files so that you can see them, which is rather helpful. Prior streams on that. But the problem is they run on every single build. And in this case, I was halfway smart. I went through, I was like, okay, we'll add in this source generator. We'll feed it in the light and dark theme so it has all of the context that it needs. And then what we'll do is we'll go through those and use the XAML as the source to generate out all of the C# that we need. And that was an okay idea. There's a couple issues though with source generators. One, there's the perf hit, because you're gonna eat this on every single compile, whether you need it or not. At minimum, even if you go with the fancy new source generator model, you're still eating the hit where the thing has to be loaded in, fired up, and figure out that, nothing to change, right? My inputs haven't changed, therefore I don't need to write anything new. And really, these things aren't going to change that much. So, my solution here is we already have a tool, this MD resource generator, that's a little command line tool whose purpose in life is to generate stuff. Because the other thing that gets really weird is source generators, at least in their current incantation, don't work well for generating XAML, specifically XAML files. Because as part of the WPF build process, there's kind of a 2-stage thing that happens. First stage where your XAML compile happens, and then the real compilation. And your source generators run as part of that second bit. Which means if you wanted to generate anything that happened in the first bit, well, you're kind of SOL. So that kind of makes it a little bit problematic, which is why past Kevin decided, the XAML files will be the source of truth, and I'll just generate the C# side on the other side. Again, okay thinking, but not great. Because at the end of the day, it would still mean that every time I want to add a single brush, I'm going to have to remember to go and plug it in to at least 2 XAML files, both the light theme and the dark theme one. And heaven forbid we add any more themes. That sounds miserable. And frankly, error prone. And I can write unit tests to try to make sure I've covered that, like to make sure that those things have the same brush keys and all of that jazz. And yeah. What I think is going to be better and save us on a lot of confusion, because the other thing that goes along with this is I want this to be something that's easily approachable for a lot of people. Like I try to make this library something that somebody without a ton of experience can hopefully come to and try and contribute. Right? If somebody sees an issue with the library, I very much encourage pull requests. Issues are great, but there's frankly only a handful of people committing pull requests. And so if all you do is file an issue, you may get looked at right away. And sometimes things just get pushed off because they aren't a huge priority or whatnot. So I like this to be approachable. And so the plan, I think, is going to be to use this MD resource gen to gen up all of the code. Have a single source of truth for the brushes, gen everything else inside of this project. And I think we're going to slap on like the -G and maybe a little comment at the top or something that says, hey, this is generated. Please don't touch, yada, yada, yada. Something, right? Not a big deal. We can even put a little pipeline step that just runs this tool and verifies there's no changes afterwards. That way there's no like weird surprise stuff, right? So I may get that far, but I think this will be the simplest way. That way a lot of this code can be replaced. It also gives me a much easier way of replacing even more of the code than I would have been able to do before. So because a lot of this stuff, like for example, all of this garbage, that's a lot. Like past Kevin wrote a ton of stuff by hand, going meticulously through each brush one at a time. Dear heavens, past Kevin must have been on too much Mountain Dew or something, because he did stuff. And this helper method is great. It does a lot. And it goes through and tacks on color and does some type stuff and all of that jazz, which is great. But we can do much better in code to make this a lot nicer. So I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to have the command line tool take in what I think is going to be a JSON file. I'm thinking something like this. It's going to be an array of thingies, and each thingy is going to have a name, some theme values, and then some alternate keys. And the alternate keys are largely there because, one, you should always optimize your code for change, with the weird caveat that premature optimization is the root of all evil. However, change is kind of a given. And if there's anything that's going to be constant, is somebody is going to ask you to make a change to your code later on. And so a lot of programming principles are around that idea of making it easy to make changes moving on, right? Seams in your code so you can segment stuff up, loose coupling, high cohesion, that idea of I should be able to fix a thing or make a change. I should change one spot and that should flow through. The problem is I don't want to be breaking people all the time. So I do want to be able to say, hey, for a time, whenever we change a brush name or do whatever, I want to be able to have both keys supported and then warn people, hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. And then on a major release, we just nuke all the old stuff. So that is the game plan. That's where I think I want to go. And that's what I want to build up. I do want to show one other cool thing. So for example, I'm just going to nuke this and redo it because I think this was kind of cool. Down here, so inside of the main method for the CLI tool, it's not even using system command line. It probably should be. I should update it to system command line. Sidebar. I got a other announcement. Got to make another announcement. There is, because I've done plenty of streams on the system command line stuff. There is an issue, and I hope it's pinned. Upcoming changes. Yes, that's this one here. Boom. So anyone who cares about system command line, there is and nice shout out to me and a few of the other contributors as well. There is a nice write-up here on the system command line, changes that are coming and whatnot. Here's the TLDR. The system command line team has previously been maintained by people with some outside contributors. A lot of the key drivers have been inside of Microsoft, but this hasn't been their primary project, which has been fine, except for it meant that there wasn't a huge amount of funding or time devoted to it, which is part of why this thing has sat in preview for as long as it has. What is really awesome is, where does it come down here? That it is getting some new love with the .NET libraries team. So Microsoft is actually throwing in some support. And in case people haven't worked with like Adam or Emo or Jeff or David, right? These are some really smart guys that kind of know what's up. Like the .NET libraries team, their job is to basically produce awesome .NET libraries. Like these are the people that you see making sure that the BCL works great. So, they kind of know a thing or two about it. But getting more support and forward progress here to make sure that system command line can actually go GA targeting .NET 7 timeframe. was targeting Net 7. Net 7 releases this month? Yes. I think NetConf this month. Don't quote me. I think. But actually trying to get this thing GA a lot quicker so that things can actually come out. It is worth noting for those who have played around with like the dragon fruit stuff that I've shown before, when they are talking about GA system command line, this is specifically the core library. So on top of the core library are flavors like dragon fruit and similar, where people are like, hey, I want to build my command line by decorating a POCO with, attributes or whatever. Great. From the system command line perspective, that is a flavor and a thing that can be built on top of it. But the core library is meant to be small, fast, and enable those types of things, but not necessarily bundle them all in, because everyone kind of has their own preference as far as how they like to structure things, which is fine. This library should help do that and make sure that there's kind of this common set of how things work, and hopefully make command line apps all behave in the same manner. I've started to become a bit of a command line snob when I do like, dash help and I don't get the help, I get annoyed. So there's kind of that common behavior that a lot of things just should kind of give you. So if you're at all interested in system command line, give this thing a read. There is a request for feedback. So if you have feedback on things, please comment. Specifically this one here. If something about system command line annoys you, please let us know. Like if there's a specific issue or specific use case, or if you evaluated system command line and you decided, hey, we're not going to use it, we're going to use one of the other command line libraries, at least me, and I know the other people on the team, would love to understand why, right? If there's something that another library you felt was doing better or was easier to accomplish, would love to understand that, right? If it's one of those, well, I'm familiar with library X and not yours, therefore I picked X, I can't change other people's familiarity. All I can do is try to make this one as easy as possible for people to dive into. Speaking of easy as possible to dive into, material design XAML. Flawless transition. It's not apparent. I may be talking a little fast. I should slow down. I've had a lot of caffeine. I've already got 2 Mountain Dews down. This is a coffee. And I got another Mountain Dew in queue. That's probably too much caffeine for 9 p.m. at night, but we're coding. We're coding. I was excited. Also, caffeine doesn't affect me that much. It bothers my wife that I could drink a Mountain Dew and then be asleep like that. Apparently, that's not normal. Okay. So this is a simple command line app. It's got a main. It takes in some args. The args are not doing fancy parsing. This is very naive parsing of the args. Use system command line. Don't do this. We'll update this later. I'm not interested in doing that tonight. Okay, so this simple thing here is, hey, if the args contains brushes, then we're going to call this new generator thing. And so the idea is I want to just F5 into this and have it pass brushes. So for anybody who hasn't seen this, you can do this on any program type. You come down here, so right click on the project properties, and then you select the debug section, and you can open the new launch profiles UI. And here you can actually make a bunch of different profiles. So in this case, you get kind of the default one here, brushes. I think it lets me rename it here. Rename selected profiles. Yeah, we can do it here. Brushes. Boom. So you can set your working directory. The one that I find most useful are command line arguments, followed shortly by environment variables. So if there's some environment variable you're wanting to manipulate, or like you're in an ASP.NET Core application and you want to toggle like your environment from like production or develop, you can have these things. And you'll note, this is a list. You can make as many of these as you want. And then what happens is they show up the current default. What? I don't know why you're trying to fire Docker up. Stop it. Underneath the properties folder, you get this launch settings.json. Well, that's why I tried to fire up Docker. Don't do WSL. That's bad. But you'll note here, this is just a JSON file. I can come in here and make different ones, right? Like I can come in here and say, oh, well, I want to do the icons one too, because, You know, maybe we want to do an icons one. The command that actually generates the icons. So maybe we'll build up one of those. And you'll note up here at the top, what I end up getting in this little drop down here is a nice little drop down with my launch profiles. That's pretty slick. Which I think that is rather nice. So now all I have to do is I can F5 and I can go and hit my theme brush generator code. I do want to change one thing while we are in here. Open with, because it's bothering me. Where's the source code editor? There it is. I think I want to change my indentation on JSON files as well. So let's come here. Let's do this. I could just add JSON to this set, but I don't really want to, because these are like, they're currently matching, but at a later point they might not. And so I don't want to make that assumption that they are. And I am doing this weird patterny thing, even though there's only one thing in this, and we could just, you know, eliminate that. But yeah, if we need it. Okay, there. That way, when we open up this brushes and I go, hey, why didn't you pick that up? Brushes.json. Did I not? Oh, don't do that. Stop it. Open with source code editor, text, JSON, indent size. Oh, do you not know how to? Let me just make sure there isn't an override somewhere else in here. Good. Those are the only ones. Yeah, so that's fine. That's fine. Why do I need to close and reopen you? Okay, well, I'm not going to stress about it now, but that is bothering me. Whatever. Okay, so let's figure out what we're generating, first of all. So what I have done in this theme brush generator bit is I've got this little bit of code that gets invoked. And you'll note right now it's just deserializing to a brush using systemtext.json. This library does have Newtonsoft in here as well. At some point I'm probably going to yank it in favor of systemtext.json. But this project was started long before systemtext.json existed. But whatever, we'll clean this thing up. Clean this thing up at a later point. So I want this thing to deserialize my JSON file. I've got a brush. I need to give it some information. So we are going to, I think, just dock this guy on the side for a moment and do this here. So I am using the new C# record class because it is really easy to work with. So string name, and then I don't remember. Let's fire this up real quick. I don't remember if I need to deal with casing differences or if it's hip to handling that for me. Can't remember. Something in the back of my mind is making me think I have to handle it. Yeah, so it didn't read in the name. So it's not hip to casing changes. That's fine. That's fine. We can do that. We can do that. Okay, so the way you do that is with an attribute. And we do this on the property. So I will explain this in a moment. What is it? System text, JSON, serialization. What is the, is it JSON property name? That's what I'm looking for. Boom. Name. Now, oh, I'm sorry. The JSON thing is lowercase name. So we're just going to slap this guy up here. Using paste, boom, 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 boom. Okay, now this guy should load and parse out the name property for me. There, name appropriately populated. Sweet. Okay, so just to call this out, oftentimes people in C# don't realize that you can put attributes on other things. This this prefix here in front of the attribute, there's actually quite a few things that you can specify here. Assembly, property, like most people are familiar with seeing it up here with like assembly level ones where you go, no, assembly. Okay, spelling counts. File version or similar, right? You've seen these in the generated stuff. And I can't remember the name of the attribute, but there are other ones for things like properties, fields, etc. And these actually come into play with records quite a bit, because with this positional record, which is the name of it here, I'm declaring this thing with a capital N because this positional member is used to generate both a constructor and a property inside of this brush. And I want this attribute to be applied to the generated property, which is kind of slick. So you do that by telling it, hey, this thing should go on the property that you generate from this positional member. So it means I still have a one-liner for my positional record, but then I can decorate this guy up and everyone's happy. Or at least I'm happy. I don't know about everybody. Okay, so now we have, let's just do alternate keys real quick. So property, let's see, JSON property name, alternate keys, and this is going to be a string array, alternate keys, something like that. And I typically tell people if you're serializable, you're probably nullable in terms of nullable reference types. It's really hard to justify otherwise. Okay, and then theme values. I'm trying to decide if I just use like key value pair or if I actually put something in. Given that new themes are going to be pretty strong and breaking, I think let's put something in. Public record class. And maybe I still like them being nested. Theme values. And then we're going to go string light, string dark. Because now if anybody adds another built-in theme, we're going to have to add it here. That's probably fine for now. All right, so we'll once again decorate this up. Property, JSON property name, light, yes. Did you see that beautiful coding by Copilot? Mwah! Love it, love it. Figure out what I mean and just do it for me. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. How about theme values? Theme values. Okay, Copilot, do your thing. Okay. No. You got close. You got close. This is how we know AI isn't taking my job anytime soon. Okay. So we got that. Let's just fire it up and make sure that this value gets parsed into here. I'm just doing one for now in the JSON file, but I intend to add more. And so it didn't parse out theme value. Oh, because I value. You have to spell it correctly for it to work. Details. Okay. There we go. Now it has stuff. Looks reasonable. Cool. I think that's fine. Alternate keys. Okay. So now let's work on actually finding the right bits. And I think I want to go steal some code from another repository. So I'm tempted to bring in its NuGet package. I don't know yet. Where is the... This is an IntelliTech repo that I'm hunting for. There is a new one that is added. Where is it? Where is it? I don't remember the name is the problem. I think the test tools one does it. Nope, 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 nope. Where is it? I know you're in here. Benjamin, are you on? What's the name of the repo that looks that has the code for the repo root stuff? Crickets. Got it. I was gonna just steal the code, but I can't find it now. Really hard to steal code that you can't find. Let me just double check and see. Does this guy reference it? Because it'd be a NuGet package here. No, that's just code DOM. Grumble, 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 grumble. Okay, can't find it. Just gonna write it by hand. Okay, so we're gonna start with this. Let's see. Private, static, directory info, get repo root. Right, so we're gonna do this. So part of the issue with a lot of these tools and the command line stuff is figuring out where you are. And as you saw in the launch settings.json, you can actually change. I'm just going to drag you a little further over. You can actually change where your working directory is. Now, by default, your working directory will typically either be set equal to your project, or it'll be set to your output directory. So like your bin, debug, etc. So depending on how you're firing stuff up, typically that's your working directory. If you're doing stuff on the command line, your working directory is the location of wherever your terminal's at. The problem is oftentimes people write code that is like ... whack to get to their repo root. I hate that. Because as soon as you change your working directory, everything falls over. Pipelines hate you. Everything's a mess. So I usually prefer doing repo root. And in general, I just assume that my repo root, if I start from wherever I'm at and I go walking up looking for my .git folder, because that's generally a safe bet. So that's usually what I like to do. So directory info, boom. That's actually remarkably close. Okay. You want to write the rest of the code for me? That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. I mean, you're almost making this. It's kind of ridiculous in a way. Thank you, Copilot. Anything else you'd like to write for me? Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna go here. We're gonna do something like this. Directory info, repo root, get repo root, and then we're gonna just throw valid operation exception, fail to find the repo root. Okay, do that. You gotta put the word new in front of your exception type. Let's just launch and make sure it still works. Huzzah. Let's make sure my repo root looks correct. That's where my repo's checked out at. Perfect. Okay, so from here, what we're gonna do is we wanna generate this code down inside of here. And so step one is we kind of want to generate something like this. Like I kind of want to kill off this file per se. And I kind of want to make this thing a partial and generate everything out of here. So we're going to file scope this thing. We're going to partial this guy. This guy may end up becoming... Yeah, because we're going to end up changing a bunch of this stuff here in a minute anyway. So let's start with this, right? So we're not going to throw away like the get system theme stuff. To do, is this useful? I don't know. It was unused, so I killed it. But I do want to go through and generate out all of this stuff, right? So in the case of this other one, so in the case of this brush here, material design brush background, right? This one generates out here to a color, right? So at least in terms of the theme.cs, we want to generate a color property. So we want to strip this much out of the name and get down to just these bits. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. For each brush in brushes, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of the nullability. We're just gonna be throwing here. If things go with throw new invalid operation exception, did not find brushes from source file, whatever. Do that. Hey Jelly, welcome to the chat. We're building a small command line application to hopefully generate out a lot of theming stuff because I'm too lazy and tired to do it all by hand. Okay, so first file we want to generate is going to be inside of material design themes, WPF theme.cs. So this guy here, oh, and thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Let's see, copy full path. We're going to come back here and let's open up these files. So we're going to go using var theme file, I guess. File open write, because we actually want to write to it. And then let's just do this, paste. So there is the fully qualified path there. And we know the repo root is this much here. So we want to do this. So I want to go path combine, right? So repo root full name. Now, for WPF apps, it's very okay to just hard code your backslashes in for your file paths. If you at all care about your code working cross-platform, please do not ever do this, right? Because Mac and Linux, they're going to want the forward slashes and not the backslashes. Windows will handle the forward slashes, at least on later versions, and you'll be fine. And so some people just always put in the forward slash. But if you always put in the forward slash, then it looks funny because something that's using the native slashes goes back. You can technically use path directory separator character. Yuck. Easy solution. Path combine, and then we just do this, right? So we're going to bring these in. So path combine will put in the right slashes for you. So you just tell it what you want and say, hey, pretty please. I'm going to just push you to the side. Pretty please put in the right slashes. I don't want to think too hard. Make me the right thing. And we are just going to do .g.cs just because by convention, that's what generated files tend to have their suffix like. And again, I'm going to put a to do write header to file indicating it is generated by this tool. That way, if anybody goes to edit it, there should be a comment at the top or something that warns them and says, hey, please don't edit this. This is a generated file. Your change is going to get thrown away. Don't do that. Okay. We got the brush. Let's see. So for each brush, we're going to want to strip off this prefix here. So do we just trim the beginning? Yeah, let's do this. So if brush.name starts with, we're gonna do the naive approach first, because the naive approach can get you quite a ways down. Never underestimate, and I want the dot as part of it too. Never underestimate how doing things the naive way can help you. So we're gonna do that. If this is not equal to true, again, we're just gonna straight up blow up. Throw new invalid operation exception. Brush does not start with expected prefix. We're going to put the prefix in, paste, boom, there. And then we should probably include the actual brush name. Let's do, be interpolated. Be interpolated. There you go. Let's just do brush. So the nice part with record types is there's a generated toString method on there that just dumps out all of the members in it. So it's a reasonable toString-ish. It's better than the default toString, which is just full type name. So, yeah, better. Okay, so we've got a brush. We know the brush starts with that. So now we can go string brush name. Let's see. And now we can do brush dot name. And we can substring this guy. And I'm kind of... let's do that. We should... I've used this now 3 times. We should constant this thing. Let's see. Const string brush prefix. Boom. Done. There. Now we'll just put this guy in here. We'll put this guy in here. And we'll put this guy in here. That's not going to work. Get rid of the quotes, please. So if people haven't seen this method of substringing, this is a newer C# syntax called range. So the key part is you could imagine doing a naive substring where you go 1 ... So this says start at index 1 and run to the end. You can also put a count on the end. So start at 1, run 5 characters, which is fine. But in our case, we want to start at index of length because this should be safe. This won't cause an out of bounds exception because we know in order to get here starts with had to return true. So we know it starts with that much. So this could be at worst empty string, but whatever. Again, this is a tool that's going to be run as developer process. So I'm a little less concerned about error checking. If somebody botches it, it's not like I'm even running this on a pipeline. Not yet, at least. Okay, so let's pull apart the parts. String brush name parts gets brush name dot split on periods. Right? I want this to go like that. Great. Okay, so this one's just going to be background, and I think that's fine. Oh, did I close the theme class? And get rid of you. I don't need you. Get rid of you. I don't need you. Don't need you. Kind of want to look at you. Don't care about you. Don't care about you. I must have closed it. So this guy here. So this, I'm ignoring the primary and secondary ones for now. We'll get back to those, but these are where we're going to start. So in this case, I think when we get to the end, like the other ones are going to be like button dot whatever. So I think what we want to do is I almost want to build up a bit of a tree with these things. Is that what I want? Maybe I should build a little hierarchy before I serialize this out. That might not be a bad idea. Might be a little easier to rip through these things, build these things up appropriately, and then do the file writing. I kind of like that. That often results in better code, so we're going to do that. So this will take the input file, because I could do the hierarchy here in the JSON instead. I don't know if that's better or not. Or if I should just infer it. Because so the idea here though is like, so for example, this is theme, this allows you to do theme dot button dot flat click or theme dot button dot flat ripple, right? And get all the way in, which is nice. But should maybe we should do flat click here. Right? Let's figure this out. So this would end up being material design dot button dot, and we're button dot. Yeah, so this one would end up looking like this. Nope. I need this whole bit here in place of that. So this would end up looking like this. And then we would need to look up the alternate ones. So brush.button.flat click, and then I need to know the alternate. I need to go to the legacy one to get the previous one. Let's see. Where is the... Oh, the actual mapping isn't here. It is in get legacy theme. Let's see. Button.flat click. So this is flat button click. Is the old, so this is the old property name, which I believe then maps to flat button click. If I go here, flat button click. So this is here. It's great. And then if I come over here and look at this is why I don't want to do this every time. I want to do this once and be done with it, because this is going to annoy me if I have to do this every single time. Actually, these guys here. So this is the light one. Flat button click is this value. So light gets that. And it bothers me that the casing is off, because that will bother me to no end. And then the dark one, flat button click, is that. So the question being is, do I want to design the hierarchy in here rather than doing it nested? I don't think I do. I think I want the code to infer it, because having it gen up this button brushes from this doesn't seem bad. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I want to build a little hierarchy of these things and rip through them. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do, is just build a little hierarchy, or at least group them. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to build me another little record class in here that handles the hierarchy of these things. So let's see. So let's see. Private record class. Class is optional here, by the way. If you just, when Microsoft did it, they released the initial record thing where you just typed record, but then they added record struct. So we type record class just so that it's explicit, even though if you see record by itself, it's identical. And then let's go with, how about brush container? Excuse me. Okay. And then I want this guy. So one of the things he's going to contain is brush container children. And actually, let's make this a list. I think I want to mutate it. No, let's make it an array. Grumble, whatever. And then I want this to have a string class name. I think is what I want. And then I can just, that's all I need, right? I need it to contain, I need it to contain the brushes inside of it. Right, because I would want to find all of the ones that start like this and put them together. Do I just need a grouping? I think that's all I need to do is group. I think I could almost do this without this with just a straight grouping. That's not a bad idea. Let's just do it with a grouping. Yeah, let's just do it with a grouping. Var grouped brushes gets, let's see, brushes group by. So this is where it's going to get interesting. So brush lambda, and we're going to do this whole ugly thing in here. And I think what we can do is we can just group like this. Return. So that'll group the brushes based upon this bit here or this bit here. I guess I actually want to drop the last one. So hang on, I want to put the brush name parts back in because I want to split on periods, drop, and then drop the last one and rejoin. So return string join. The separator will be period, and the object will be brush name parts, and then if we go caret 1. So once again, using the new rangy stuff to go from the end. So short it by 1. And then I'm just going to list it so I can look at this and make sure I get what I expect out of here. And then I don't need this anymore. Let's fire that and make sure we get what we expect. And then I think we'll just gen a bunch of partial files. I think will be the thing. So group brushes, let's take a look. So what? Oh, this got the. Oh. So this just got the. Okay. I think we want. And actually, we don't even need to substring it. We can just do brush dot name split, and then we can start at index. Right? We want to drop 0, 1, start at 2, and drop the end 1. I think that'll get me what I want. Let's test. Parameter name length. So apparently not. Call stack. Jump back. Brush name parts. Null. What? I'm going to go with that is lying to me. Brush dot name. Great. Split. Brush name parts. Oh, because I'm trying to start at 2 and take off the end. So I almost want to do 2.0, I think is what I'm looking for. Here, we're going to just test it here. Boom. So immediate window 2.0 out of range. 2. Oh, hush now. Continue. So 2. Gets me just background. Let's see. Caret 2 gets me material design, so it counts into from there. 1 gets me material design brush. So I think I actually want 2.1, right? Yeah. See? Counting is hard. Counting is hard. Boom. So that should get me what I want. Turn that off. Hit go. Move the stupid terminal window off of my other screen so it's not bothering me anymore. Okay. So empty string button. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Now we're cooking with fire. Now we're cooking with fire. Okay. So let's see about genning some of these up. Okay. So we've got the theme file that we want to generate. And I think what we want to do is actually gen up multiple things. So I think what we're going to do, like this is still good. I think what we're going to do is change up this little bit here. So for each var brush grouping in grouped brushes. We're going to come up here. Okay, so and we're going to special case the empty string. So this one here. So if string is null or empty, brush grouping key. So in the event we do that, let's see. String, well, I kind of need file name and class name. So we're going to just do those. Let's see, file name gets theme.cs. Class name gets theme. Right? Else, again, we're doing this kind of naively, but that's remarkably close. That is remarkably... Well, is it what I want? Because for the button, what do I actually want to generate? I think I actually want it theme dot button. And I actually want it... I missed the .g.cs. So I won't fault you too much, Copilot. I didn't give you the right information. You didn't infer what was in my head. I think I want to do... And this one, we don't want it to be theme. We want it to be button brushes. All right, is the class name that we ultimately want here. Because at the end of the day, what we're looking to do is generate this. So it's going to be key brushes. Okay, fair enough. So then we want to open up the file. So this then becomes file name. Great. And then we want to generate, I think this thing was public. Oh, so this one I don't want sealed, but the other ones I kind of do. Okay, we're just going to generate them all non-sealed for the moment, and I'll deal with it. We'll add it to do. So... And actually, what we should probably do is using Stream Writer. We can do that instead. And then we're just going to do theme file write line. We're just going to start dumping some C# into here. So we'll start with the namespace. Boom. Theme file write line empty string. Let's see, theme file write line, and then this is where we're going to go with public partial class. We may have to special case this a little bit because I do want to generate these as nested ones. Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of generating them as nested classes. I do that. Okay, so, I mean, this is the first one. Public partial class, and then this is going to be class name. All right, so we'll do that. And there, and then boom. We're going to generate up a couple open curly brace. And we're using the file scope namespaces in the project, so we don't have to do fancy stuff. So that gets us the class. And then think I like the idea of a blank line above and below. Make that a little nicer. And then for each var brush in brush grouping, we can get rid of the var because that type is not clear. And then we're going to go theme file dot right line. And actually, we won't need this one because we'll end up putting this inside of there. So we'll do a right line, public color, name, public color, and then we need, I need that. Don't go away from me. Let's see, brush dot name, and then we're gonna do that. So inside of an interpolated string, the ones that start with the $sign, you can do curly braces by doubling them up. Get set. And that gets that far. We do a right line, and all of that just works. Okay, let's run it. Okay, and then we check in our folder. We've got a theme.button. That is too much. We need to change that. We're missing the namespace for color. We need to add system Windows Media to the top. We need a right line with that. Let's see. We're going to do this, and then we're going to come up here, and we're going to go that one. And then we need to get the actual, because this is the full brush name. We need to get just the last bit. So we're going to do brush name split on periods. Why don't you use source generator? That is a great question. So for this one here, and we can bang, we know it's not null here. So for what we're generating out with these theme brushes, source generators was actually how I had initially started down this project. And so there is a material design generators project that I'm probably going to leave it there because it's not hurting anything. But there were two issues that I had with source generators. One is, even with the newer incremental source generators, there's a performance hit you're going to take on every compile, and this stuff isn't going to change that often. And so taking that hit on every compile seemed pretty wasteful. This is really only going to change as more brushes are added. That's going to be the common use case. And so rather than making it suffer on every build, I didn't like that. The other drawback is I wanted it to be able to generate XAML files. Because some of what I want to build out here, right now we're writing the C# portion of it, but these files here that generate out these brushes, I wanted to be able to generate these, and you can't generate these with source generators. Or at least you can't generate XAML files with source generators inside of WPF. The reason is as part of the build process, MS Build does a couple passes that process your XAML files, and then that is what gets processed into the actual compilation unit that goes to the C# compiler. That last pass where the C# compiler is invoked is the point where source generators get implemented or get invoked. So if your source generator there generates a XAML file, you're already too late because you missed the earlier MS Build steps. It's kind of a, I don't want to say flaw because everything's working as designed, but when source generators were designed and added, they made the sweeping assumption that they needed to be plugged in as part of the code compilation process, which is true. There's just other things that happen, usually pre-compile, that your source generator can't really generate. Because anything that's done pre-compilation happens well before the source generators run, and so anything it adds is kind of meaningless. Now, that doesn't mean it's not worthless completely. Like, there are ways you can kind of hack around it, but I ended up deciding that because of the lack of changes that I expect to occur here, I kind of felt like just going this route with a little CLI was a little bit easier. But great question. That was my only rationale there, is it seemed like a little more effort than it was worth. Okay, so let's fire this guy up. And hopefully... Yeah, no problem. Okay, so that looks better. It's not indented. I'm mildly tempted to go... People have implementations of StreamWriter that do the nice indenting stuff. In my case, I'm only indenting 4, so I don't care. The other one's going to indent 8. It's like, whatever. Okay, so that should get me that. That looks... Okay, that's pretty good, aside from the fact that I want this class nested inside of theme. And theme works well. And this is rightly generating a compilation error. Do you drink mate's tea? No. I do tea drinking every so often. The cup is currently holding coffee. So it's late at night. I'm drinking coffee, and I've already downed one Mountain Dew, and I've got another one in queue. So I'm going to have a lot of caffeine in my system by the end of this. Normally, caffeine doesn't affect me much. In this quantity, I'm likely to get a buzz. And I've already noticed I'm talking faster than usual, so I've probably already reached the caffeine buzz point. Okay. This guy's generating here appropriately. So we just need to axe it from here, and now this guy works. And I think light thing derives from this, doesn't it? So I can't seal this class, but I want to seal the other ones. But to answer the question, so no, I don't drink a ton of tea. The tea that I do drink tends to be just straight black tea. My wife is a big tea drinker, though. She has a tea box filled with all kinds of fun stuff. And occasionally she'll make me something. So I'm not opposed to tea. I'll drink it every so often. I just usually don't seek it out. And I really don't actually like coffee that much, aside from the caffeine buzz. Though some of my wife's teas are loaded in caffeine. Like, knock you down type stuff. Which is great. It just takes longer for me to brew a tea than it does for me to drop my Keurig in and punch out a bit of coffee. Okay, so that works. I do want to change... I want this guy to end up with the word sealed, and I want him to look like public partial class theme, and I want it to look like this at the end of the day. Because now you'll know this is now conflicting with the one on the other side. So that's what we're going for. We want conflicts, but we want to nest it underneath this. So let's come over here. This is going to be pretty close. So let's do bool is root. It's false. And in this case, we'll just go is root gets true. And I don't think, again, we're doing this naively because this is a dev tool and I don't feel the urge to make it go nicer. So if is root, I am tempted to go grumble, theme file. I am tempted to go get one of those indented stream writers. Maybe. We'll see. So if is root, we're gonna go here, public class theme. This needs to be an opening curly brace, which means not one of those. And then I need the equivalent thing at the end. Actually, we'll move this up. Take this out. Go here. Actually, this is going to end up being... We're going to cheat a little bit, I'm realizing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that goes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just trying to cheat without getting too cheaty. But I think we'll just duplicate some code. It's probably easier to duplicate than it is to not. So if it's a root, we're gonna add in public partial class theme. If it's not root, oh, actually, this is the not root case, isn't it? And actually, we don't even need the class name per se. We do kind of need it, but we also kind of don't. What we care more about is, let's get rid of class name. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be what ends up. The is root is going to be controlling it more than anything else. Okay, I've already made the code complicated. So if we are at the root, public partial class theme, and then we write stuff. If we are not at the root, we want to write the same root stuff plus this. So regardless, we want to write this, right? So regardless of whether we're at the root or not, we always write that. We then, if we are not at the root, we want to nest in here. We want to do the class name bit here. Which I can kind of just get away with doing this. So if we are not at the root, we want to nest in a class. I'm gonna just $. Oh, doesn't matter how I do it. Okay, so if we're not at the root, then we're gonna do the class. And I think what I'm gonna do is string indent gets 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in this case, indent is gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here we're just gonna do indent. There. Boom. Oh, that's index, not indent. Okay, so there's there. That will indent appropriately. That will get me my brush name. This allows me to do sealed in this particular case, which is what I want. And then I can create the colors, write the colors. If not root, we want to do the extra bit, run it. Okay, and then we're gonna go button here. Public partial. Oh, so I actually need sealed partial. Okay. Right. So we're gonna move here, sealed partial, run. That goes there. That now conflicts, which is exactly what we want. Huzzah. Lovely. Okay, if we look at theme.cs, this is a partial. That's set appropriately. That is perfect. Now, what is missing is I need to generate these properties because I'm generating the button brushes, but I need to add those into here. So what would be really ideal is to have a list of those nested things. And we aren't nesting them more than... Oh, see, we did nest it a little deeper. Interesting. Interesting. So we'll have to deal with that case when we get down to there. Okay. But for the moment, that's fine. Even if I have to write these ones out manually, that's okay. There is a question. Okay. So next thing I'd like to do is these things here are going to be obnoxious to look at. So we are going to collapse them onto each other. Let's see. We're going to do a new item group for the theming stuff. So worth noting, there is some magical stuff that's built in. So when you reference like the Microsoft .NET SDK, or in our case, the Windows Desktop SDK, this references other MS Build files that have their own like property groups and item groups in them and globbing patterns. So what you are getting down here where you have like .xaml.cs, this is a magical depends upon attribute that's being specified on particular items here. So what we would like to do is the compile items include, and I want to pick up, let's see, theming / theme. Let's see, theme .star.g.cs. Or actually, I want this to just be theme.cs. So what I would like to do is nest all of the items that have, dependent upon. See, you're getting close. Getting close, buddy. Right? So what you would end up doing is theme.g.cs would be dependent upon... Oh, I did it backwards. This is... just show what we're going for. Boom. So what I've done now is I've said, okay, theme.generated.cs is dependent upon theme.cs. So now it actually nests my files under here. So because I don't really want people editing these things manually, but it's nice to be able to see them, I think what I would like to do is that, right? So we are going to duplicate this. Let's see. I think we actually want an update. Let's just confirm that that's what we want. I think include will do an upsert. Yeah, I think update's a little cleaner though. Okay. So how this reads is items in the compile set. I would like to update the item that's in there underneath theming.theme.g.cs. And we can do globbing patterns in here, which gets awesome. .g.cs. There, that'll work. And now all of my generated files are going to end up in here. Oh, I guess I am going to need both because I'm going to need a special case for just g.cs. Yeah, so I am going to need both. One for the globbing pattern to pick up the other ones. Actually, I could probably do this and get away with it. Yeah, because it would have to be theme dot something. Yeah, we'll just do that. I like it. I like it being in one pattern. That way these things show up and are nested and are pretty, and I like pretty. Okay. Okay. That gets me into there. Nice nested setup. Everyone's happy. This guy is conflicting with the other one, which is what we want. Let's go into here. Let's fix that guy there, because at some point we're going to move all of these out. I will declare you as partial. not spell partial today, and apparently cannot type. Okay, so that gets me to there. That gets me to there. Perfect. Okay, so let's, I'm not going to waste people's time while we go through and update this file with all the stuff, but I do want to start generating out the rest of the files as well. Okay, so given that, let's look at the other stuff that we want to generate. So the other thing that we would like to generate is I would like to generate out this garbage here. So I would like to make you a partial. Oh, you already are. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. Are you a... No, you are just a extension method. Okay, so I would like to generate a theme manager where it does the set theme bits for me. Because I will have all of these. And I'm specifically going to be looking down here. And I think maybe what we do is we gen these... well, we already are generating these properties. Right? We're already generating the properties. And we have this thing here. So I kind of want to create a theme manager set brushes class. So let's do that as well. I think what we should probably do though is this is going to get out of hand quick. So let's start breaking this thing up, right? So let's go with private static I guess void generate theme brush files. So we'll do that. And then I think I just want to do this whole bit in here. Boom. Right? So we'll do this. I'll do enumerable of brushes. Boom. Brush prefix should move down into here. Not there. There. Bippity boppity booyah. Everyone's happy. Okay, and then this becomes generate theme brush files, and we pass in brushes. Okay, perfect. Because I think we're just going to generate out separate methods for each of these things so that it's clear what's being done in each case. Let's see. Oh, this should be nullable. There, problem solved. Okay, so now let's do a private static void generate theme manager. Enumerable brushes. Again, I'm less concerned about the performance of iterating through this. This list of brushes may get to a few hundred, maybe. That's if we go crazy. I'm not worried about perf. So step one, we need to generate out this file. So let's just grab, oh, we need repo root passed in. Repo root. Let's see. Boom. There. We need that there. And then we're just going to grab this. Come in here. Theme manager file. And we are going to do directory info repo root. Okay. And then this is going to be material design theming dot theme manager dot g dot cs. And then real quick, I'm just going to add in one more thing here. Theme manager. I'm just wondering if this is going to match too many things. We're going to see. I think having this one second will solve that problem. Find out in a minute. Okay, so then we want to do generate theme manager, brushes, repo root, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And so I think what we want, let's just look here. So kind of what I'm thinking is I want to go with something like public, partial class. And actually, I kind of want to just do partial class theme manager. That way the protection modifier is controlled by the other partial. And then I want to do something like private void set brushes. And then this guy is probably going to take in a resource dictionary. Actually, he's probably going to take in this whole thing. Well, he really only needs the theme and the resource dictionary at the moment. So we're only going to resource dictionary theme. Right? And then this guy here is going to end up with, for example, this line. Right? So I want him to do this, where he calls set solid color brush. I am somewhat tempted to flatten this out and do I'm somewhat tempted to flatten this out, but I don't know if I actually want to. We're gonna gen simple, because again, I don't want to do this mess. This is too much. This is too much. We don't want to do this. So we're gonna gen something that looks remarkably like this. So you come here. Okay. Paste. Boom. Okay, so theme manager, right line. Let's start with, oh, I didn't grab the namespace bit. You, namespace. Boom. We're gonna need some using statements. Don't care yet. Theme manager file. Let's do an empty line. Let's do. Okay, that's getting creepy. It's getting creepy. I appreciate you. You want to write the next line? Yeah, thanks. You want to do the next one? Not even close. But I have to say, yeah, see, I don't want that. Come on, Copilot. How can you not infer what's going through my head? Okay, and then we need the inverse down below, because we want to end it, and we want the new line before it. Great, great, great. And then we want to create a method that does this. So despite your attempt, we're going to go like that. Now, does this, can this be static? It can be. So let's go with static. Set brushes. Maybe set theme brushes. Yeah, that looks better. And then we want to do, once again, the curly brace bit. One of those bits. And then we want to rip through the brushes and generate out this bit here. So for each var brush in brushes. Go, Copilot. Write the code. That's not bad. Not bad. I understand how you got to that conclusion. That's very impressive, Copilot. No, but the hint is down here. This is what I wanted you to generate. So close. So close. You're doing so good. Doing so good. Proud of you, Copilot. I'm proud of you. You do so good. You do so good. Okay. So that matches up to that. This guy here needs to then be the name of the brush. So this is going to be brush.name. And then this needs to line up to the generated property from the other case. So in this case, I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a little helper. on brush, just to make our lives easier. Let's see, public string property name, make it computed, make this do that. We're just gonna straight up ignore the null. And now down here we can just do brush dot property name. And then down here we can do theme dot let's see, property name. Now this is probably going to need to be more complex when we get multiple levels of nesting, but you know what? For now, it's going to work just great. Yeah, ship it. Okay, and then the manager now has a nested class. Oh, booyah. So this is going to be right, because I need this actually to be with just the prefix stripped. Got it. Okay, so I should actually not use the property name here. I think I'm going to leave that there. I think I'm going to do this constant inside of here. Change the name, brush prefix, do that. Public, let's do public string name without prefix gets name. Nope, don't help me. Brush prefix dot dot. Oh, yeah, that. Too many dots. Too many dots. Too many dots. Too many dots. Ah! Okay, so name. Tell it to shut up. Brush prefix dot length. Huzzah. Okay, I think that works. Yeah, so name without prefix. Did we use that down here already? We did this garbage here, where we split it off and rejoined. I think what we're going to do is, why does this, oh, that should throw an error. So brush dot brush prefix brush dot prefix, and then I think we can just here we should be able to just return brush dot name without prefix. Yeah, I think that's what we're going for. Blah 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 blah. We'll see if that changed up what I was doing. And this needs to be name without prefix. Boom, boom, boom. Run code. We'll start with our theme manager to make sure we didn't. Oh, interesting. Ambiguity between. Oh, so this used it in the wrong place. Got it. So there's ambiguity there because I messed that up. Okay. Oh, so those things weren't quite the same. Alright, you're just gonna undo back here a little bit. These ones were not quite the same. I do kind of want to take this though and put it up here. Public string mean, type name, I think, is probably a better way of doing this. I don't really want to lambda body this thing. It's gonna be hard to read. It's already ugly. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. Get. Okay, so you need to format correctly. Thank you. This, that container type name. So that's the slightly different thing. So this just becomes brush.container type name there. That's a little nicer. Okay. This error checking kind of feels like something that could be moved out. And yeah, we can get rid of that to list. That's not necessary anymore. Okay. Go gadget. Done, and let's check it again. This one may be background brushes. So I'm just gonna blow away all of these because this thing is not deleting source. That would be one advantage of source generators, is because they don't generate files. You don't have to worry about stale files. Okay, which is better because now I'm back down to what I had. Button brushes, theme, that works. Theme manager, that now works. Great. Perfect. That's what we want. So this guy here is going to end up becoming no, we'll get to you in a minute. You're ugly. So this is going to become set theme brushes, resource dictionary, theme, call it a day. No. Resource dictionary. So that's going to obsolete, ideally at the end of the day, all of these. So we're going to kill all of these off because, again, I don't want to write this code. I have to build me a big ugly JSON file, but whatever. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Mountain Dew. Okay, so this is the assignment. We're going to ignore the legacy bits for the moment. Now we have to do the get. So this guy here is the inverse, right? So button brushes, building these things all out. This is all fine, but once again, we can gen this stuff. So I kind of want to write I kind of want this method to be generated for me. I'm a little surprised that thing's private and not invoked anywhere. And this thing's not invoked. I've probably killed off the invocation of this. And I don't know why. But regardless, we're going to try to generate this method as well. Okay, so close. You, come here. So while we're inside of here, we want to generate one more method. We're going to just copy this guy. Paste. Let's see. Generate set theme brushes. Generate get theme brushes. So we're going to do the inverse. So this is going to take in this and return back a theme. Okay. So inside of here, I want to do the equivalent of what this is doing. So I want to do, well, technically this kind of. So we're gonna lead with that line. Boom. And then we're going to do open curly brace, close curly brace. We're going to get rid of the interpolation. We're going to do that and that. Okay. And then inside of here is, oh, actually, this needs to be outside of the for loop. There. Inside of here now is where we ought to do all the get stuff. So this one here is going to be interesting. So let's start with background. Oh, interesting. I already have found a bug. I don't assign background in here. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So we want to do this line first. Right? So this is going to be this. So for each brush, copy, paste. And then I want to do that line. So this is going to be the property name. So brush dot property name. We'll use the get color method, and then this will just be brush dot name. Okay. Now I think this is only going to work for part of it. We'll run it real quick. And let's see here. What do we got? Okay, so that is close. And this is lacking the other thing. And we missed a semicolon there. So couple things. So the return, that needs a semicolon at the end for the return statement. These things need to be, let's see, const string, indent. Yeah, sure, we're gonna do that. And I want this to be this plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm very close to just going and getting one of the indented string writers because it's so much, it can be so nice. Okay, and then we missed, no, we have the comma there. That'll get us there. Get color does not exist in the current context. Get color does exist. Is it not static is the question. Get color is... Why is it iterating over with multiple keys? Oh, I see. So you can pass multiple ones in. Got it. Okay, well, that's easy. We're going to just promote these things out so that they are private static and private static. And they're going to need to take in a resource dictionary. Which is fine. And then get color is going to take in a resource dictionary. Okay, extra points for spelling and putting the comment in the right place. Okay, getting annoyed at my spelling ability. There we are. Okay. That goes like that. That passes through. Now, that's going to cause me all kinds of pain and suffering up there. What we're going to do is we are going to put this guy back to some degree. String key. I think what we can do is resource dictionary key, and that should make all of you happy. Oh, interesting. because those names are going to conflict. I can't get away with this, can I? I don't think it's an overload resolution issue. I think it's a name problem. Yeah. How do I go about doing this? I think what we're going to do is replace get color with get color old. Replace all in the current document. Yep. That's why I didn't want to do it by hand. And then we're just going to fix the few that I don't want to be that way to not be that way. That way there's no more naming conflict. Boom. And then try get color gets migrated. Get color. Oh, that needs to be there. That. Okay. So that now works. Great. We've eliminated all those problems. Okay. And so now the generator just needs to work. And this needs to pass in resource dictionary as the first parameter. Okay, so get color resource dictionary like that. That will fix problem 1. Problem 2 is brushes that have nesting. So in this case, what actually needs to happen is this needs to be button like this in order for this to work. So I almost want to get change up my brush thing here. How about public string container parts? Yeah, because I kind of want to do this. Like this. But with the indexer already on it. So that's kind of what I want. And then I want this thing to change to just be container parts. And then I can get rid of this, I can get rid of this, and I can lambda body the thing. Haha! Yes! Yes. Muchas better. Muchas better. Muchas better. Who you up above. Okay, so we want the container parts is how we're going to know to do the appropriate nesting. So, for each of those brushes, for each string part in brush dot container parts, string current indent gets indent, and then we're going to go with this guy here. We are going to write, we're going to do this, do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We're going to do it above and below because we are going to write the okay, so we want to use current indent. We want to write the part. We want to write a opening curly brace. And then we want current indent plus equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Nested in. And then we want this thing to use current indent. And then here we're going to do basically the reverse, but we aren't going to care what the value is. Because all we're going to do is write one of these guys as a closing brace. And we are going to current indent is going to get current indent caret 4, I think is what we want to indent appropriately. Because caret 4 says 4 in from the end. I think that's the right logic. We're just going to run it. I could think about if the logic's right, or I could run it and just look at the output and see what's wrong. That's not the file. That's the file. Okay, so we got close. I need it to be button equals. And then these curly braces need to be indented properly, but that's pretty darn close. So part space equals. It's going to go like that. These things need to be prefixed with the... So this is a literal one. Join to God. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We are building a small command line app to generate a bunch of C# code for some theming stuff in the material design library. At least that's the goal. Okay, so this will be the part where we figure out if I counted correctly. Because this will be current... Oh, and I called it current index again. Current indent. There. Pretty please. There we go. Okay, rinse, repeat, try again. Goal! Success! That is what success looks like. Perfect, perfect. I think I want an extra line here, I think. So we're just going to do a theme manager right line, slap an empty line between those two methods, because I want it to look purty. Purty. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Perfect. That handles more of it. Let's write more files. Let's write more files. Okay, so we have dark and light theme. Okay, so these ones here, these are somewhat around the idea of trying to be nice and consistent. I'm trying to remember why I wanted this like this. Why did I want this? I'm trying to remember why I had light theme derived from theme. Because I understand why I did this. This is highly convenient. But I don't quite understand why I wanted all of these brushes here and then light theme to derive from it. Because I think what I actually want instead... So I don't think I want this. I think I actually want this. Right? So let's leave that commented code alone for a moment. I think what I want is light theme. And I want it generated with all of these pre-canned brushes. Now this is doing convert from string. Which I think is probably a little bit overkill. Because we could do better, right? Like, I realize this is the wrong property name. Actually, we could just do background, right? Background is a color. And we should be able to do color from ARGB, right? And literally just plug in the 0x, insert value here, right? Because we can, one, parse this, and then gen this thing out appropriately. Because I think that'll be a little bit less costly than converting from a string, having the thing get boxed, unboxing it. Like, we're genning the code. So let's just go straight, I think. And you are already being genned partial, so let's go here and let's make us another method. Private static void generate theme file. Yeah, I feel like I'm naming things poorly, but I don't have a better solution at the moment. So whatever. I'm gonna do this here because that's needed. Collapse you here. I'm gonna grab this here, slap that in, and we're gonna call it theme file. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with string theme name. Actually, because it's really what I want to do is make sure that I'm parsing these ones here and handling them appropriately. I think generate theme files. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to hit them both in one shot. Let's come up here. Generate theme files. There's that. Great. So do that, because this is going to need to be light theme file. Light theme. And then let's duplicate over for dark. Because again, if we add in more built-in themes, like how Windows has like the high contrast or whatnot in there, we'll probably want to do something a little bit, like these will need to be explicit about what the defaults are. So they'll just need to be added in. So whatever. Yeah, that's pretty good. Keep going. I think what we're actually going to do here, though, is void write file, stream writer. We're going to just do this. Okay. And you want to write it, Copilot? Here's your chance. No? Okay. Fine then. So this is what we're going with. We're gonna do this guy here. Let's see. Turn you off for the moment. Here. So we're gonna do namespace first. Probably should grab that using statement that I know we're gonna need for the light theme. We're gonna need this using statement pretty much right away. So let's slap that in. Let's see. Writer. Right line. When in doubt, use white space to add clarity to your code. It makes it so much nicer. That's close. We're going to go with partial class. Do we need to do... Can't grab the... No, you don't have a concept of what you were open from. String class name. Let's see. Convert to interpolated string. What I wanted, just leave my stuff alone. Let's see. So writer... Right line. Do that. Okay, so what we want to go for, though, is that constructor. So we're going to do that. Blah, 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 blah. Interesting thought? No. Public, and then we're going to go with class name. Stop it. Let's see. And then we're going to go paren because we want a default constructor. And then, yeah, we'll just do this. Bing. And then the inverse. Okay. And now we get to the interesting bits. Sure, start with that. We'll say Copilot, you are being somewhat helpful tonight. Okay, so step one, we actually want to parse out the whether we're going with light or dark. And maybe what we should do... Nah, I was gonna get fancy about doing this. We're gonna be lazy. Bunk, brush, string, get theme value. So we're just gonna do this. String theme value. It's get theme value. Pass in the brush, and we'll call it a day. Boom, done. Okay, and then this will end up being brush. Let's see. I think we want, because the first one's going to be that. So the first one is just going to be, well, let's write it, right? So, CTOR, right? It'll end up being background gets color from ARGB, right? Insert values here. But then we also want to do button dot flat click gets color from ARGB, right? So we're going to want to do that as well. So it needs to follow that. So what does that end up looking like? So this is going to be something like a string join using a period. And we are going to pass in the brush container parts, which could be empty. We're not going to do a semicolon, and we're not going to have this right line. We don't want it to actually terminate the line. So that'll get us at least this bit, or empty string. Oh, that's interesting. Even though that'll get me the dots in the middle, it doesn't tell me whether I need a dot at the end or not. I guess I actually don't care that much, because it's not container parts that I want. I want what was it? Name without prefix. Because I really just want it button dot flat click or background. So I really just want name without prefix. That's what I want. And then I want equals color from ARGB. Got it. So I want that gets color from ARGB. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now we have to parse this. So color, and actually we can steal the code that this thing was doing. We can do this, because we'll now do this at compile time, or at generation time. Color value, right? And so this will become not this, but this will be theme value. What is your problem? An object reference is required. Huh? Color converter, convert from string. This is, wait, what? It's resolving to the system Windows Media. Oh, it's resolving to the wrong thing. Got it. Got it. So I need you to be System Windows Media, which is problematic because you don't exist inside of a CLI app. That's gonna be a fun one. Okay, so options. What do I have? I have access to system.drawing, right? Color. Do you have a parse or a from ARGB? Show me just methods. From ARGB, does that have a string overload? No. So we could parse this as regex. But that is an option. Kind of like the idea of using the WPF stuff to get it, because then I can guarantee the behavior matches. Oh, interesting. So there's a system drawing color converter that it's resolving to. What is that? What do you have? We could leverage this. This is just a straight type converter. Yeah, so let's just do that. Let's see how that works. So color converter gets new, and then we come down here and we go convert from string. Let's see, unboxing of potentially null value. I think we just say ignore it. If it crashes, we know where the bug is. And then here, this is subtly changing which color this is leveraging, but we go color value dot a, and we want to convert this to a hex string. So we actually want 0x, and then I believe I think it's 2 x's, if I remember right. Gives me the, we may have to double check. I can't remember the exact format string that does A, R, G. Oh, nope, not what I wanted you to do. Stop it. Stop it. Paste. ARGB. Shoot, run it. See what happens. Oh. So this won't do anything if we don't actually invoke our method. So let's try calling it now. Let's see. So this will be light theme file, and the func will go from brush dot theme values dot light, right? And then we'll do double this up, and this one accesses the dark theme one. This becomes dark theme. I'm realizing I could probably come into here and make this guy brighter. We don't need to pass it from here anymore. This guy can just exist here, and this can be class name. There, that's nicer, I think. Then I don't have to do with this. It ensures that the class name and the file name are always going to match. Okay, now we run it. It is nice that even with all of the stuff we've added, it's really not taking any time at all. Oh, these aren't nested. Well, we'll look at those in a minute. So that did not do what I wanted. And we missed the new line. Right. I remember at first we weren't wanting to do that. So we do want this to be a right line. We want this to be a semicolon at the end. That'll clean up that. What is this value? This is a byte. Actually, I think we can just get away with this. Because the value... No, I want it as hex. Okay. C# numeric format strings. Where is... So, boom. So, I usually tell people you don't need to memorize these unless you'd like to, but you need to know these exist. Yeah, see it. Oh, it's just 1x. And if you want multiple, you append a number to it. Okay. So I was close. It was close. I'm going to get rid of one of each of these. Okay. Try that. Run. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put one of these guys sitting over here. We can see it as it executes. Okay, so your problem here is my light theme already had a constructor in it. Okay, are you happy now? That looks pretty darn good to me. Kind of want to put spaces between those. It's my mild preference. Just to make these things line up nicely. Okay. Yeah, and now if we rerun, we should see no change occur. Great. Okay, perfect. So that handles generating, and let's just make sure the dark theme looks good. Looks good. Okay, we're gonna we're gonna nest those guys as well. Let's see. Theming. I'm just gonna specify these light theme. Yeah. I was thinking I might do something fancy with wildcard matching and whatnot, and it's not worth it. Dark theme. And that should have nested them both. Light theme. Dark theme. Great. Great, great, great. Much happier with that. Okay, so that gens those. What else do we want to gen? I want to gen the XAML files, I think, is the last thing that I want to make sure I also generate. So let's go here. I'm going to dock you guys over here. So these ones have the old and the new. I'm trying to decide if I do these as XML docs. Or if I just want to stringify them. Because it will be ideal to do this. Oh, I also want to gen the... These ones might be better to gen. The bundled theme. Like this. Because I'd prefer to gen these as well. So let's gen those up. Let's see here. So we want to come here. Let's go with private static void generate built-in theming dictionaries. Sure. Enumerable brush. Maybe we really should just copy this. This is what we're passing into everything. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so this is going to be... We're going to actually end up doing something real similar here, where we do this kind of maneuver, but this is going to not be nested under theming. And I think rather than class name, this is just going to be file name. File name. We don't need the quotes around it. We don't need curly braces. Those go away. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so for example, this is going to be write file, and we're going to start with the bundled theme. Yeah. Bundled theme dot XAML. And I don't think we need a func. And we just want to write out all of these things into here. Yeah, because this is how we want to... This is only here to support IntelliSense. We're going to need to make sure that we set the old ones into those other things as well, but we're going to start with just genning this file. And I think rather than writing it as XML, we're going to just do it as strings and be done with it, because I don't want to fight with it too much. Okay, so writer, write line. We're going to just start pasting some of this stuff in. So resource dictionary, X class. Do I read it and then write it? Because this is going to be one of those files that I don't really want to put... Well, I mean, I guess we could rename this to .g.xaml. That's not bad. It's not a breaking change to rename the file. Okay, so let's do that. And actually, that's convenient if I do that for the moment, because what we will do for now is I'm going to discard changes here. Oh, I probably didn't want to completely do that, but whatever. Because I think I actually had a change there. Yeah, because I had this as bundletheme.xaml.cs, so that it was nested, and then I had u flagged as partial TIAL, and then I did that maneuver. Okay, we're gonna do that again. We'll leave all that alone. Okay, so you're all happy, right? Let me just verify. We've been doing all this work. You compile still, right? Just been relying on the IntelliSense to let me know if I've made a mistake. Okay, yeah, you don't count. But this project compiles, right? Static base theme. Where did this come from? Huh. I might have to look at that. I don't know what is going on there or why for the moment. Theme extensions. What did I modify this? I think I modified it this pass around. Yeah, that's just a deletion there. Most of this is coming from other generated bits. Yeah, which is fine. I guess I must have broken this at some point. Where is this, and why are you declared partial? Theme extensions. Set base theme. Why did I not see you before? Get base theme. Why am I so confused? What? Theming theme. Did I break the class being referenced here? Is that the problem? Is the theming theme is now problematic? I guess I did change that class. What's the change there that would have broken it? Partial. That wouldn't have broken it. I've added a bunch of partials to it. Must be dumb or stupid. Get base theme. Oh, did it have a base class before and now it doesn't? Get base theme. This returns a get theming theme. This guy here has a... Oh, the method I commented out is what it was trying to invoke. Must have an implementation because it has accessibility modifiers. Huh. Really not clear on what's going on there, but let's... Past Kevin did some weird stuff, and I'm not sure what past Kevin was thinking. Okay, demo. Don't care. Got it, perfect. We're just gonna unload the demo project, because frankly, right now, we don't care. Unload project. And do you build? Go away. Build one success. That looks like success. Okay. Okay, we'll deal with you in a minute. Okay, so resource dictionary, bundled theme. Oh, that's right. We were trying to figure out the proper way to write this. Because I want the same contents in each of these with the appropriate name in them. Let's go back to calling this class name. And this will just be bundled theme. And this guy will go back to doing this maneuver. Class name. And he will just tack on g.gcs. We're going to do this maneuver here. And this becomes class name. Do that maneuver there. And then this we're going to just terminate. And we're going to get rid of this and go writer.writeLine. Bring you up. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Come to the end. Go close. Let's see, close quote. That is incorrect there. That goes like that. Semicolon. Next line. Writer, right line. And then clean that out. Clean that out. Clean that out. Writer, right line. Empty line. And then one final one for the closing. Okay, so even though this is an XML based file, I'm just going to handle it like this so I don't have to think too hard. Okay, const string indent. This is 2 spaces in this repository. Okay, now what we would like to do, yeah, actually, dang it, Copilot. Fine. I mean, that's close. You're wrong, but you're not that wrong. You're not that wrong. So, because we are generating not one of these, not one of these, one of these. So we want to rip through all of the brushes. We want to add the brush by name. We don't want it to have a color. We're just going to straight up do that. For its key, we are going to then generate a color right after it. The color will have the name of the brush with .color appended to the suffix. At the end of all of these, we want to rip back through these things and add in more. So we want to do writer, right line, empty line. Then we want to slap in a obsolete comment. So we know what things we are nuking next time around. We want to indent it. That goes like that. Indent like that. And then we want to rip through all of the brushes. And this time, let's see. We want to do similar, but we want to do for each var alternate name in brush dot alternate keys. Oh, we should alternate key. Yeah, do that, and then use explicit type, and then we want to bring these guys up, and we want to do. It's just going to be that, and it's going to be alternate key dot color. Let's see, enumerable dot empty, in case we don't get any, because not all of them are going to have old ones. Rip through all of those, and we hit the end. So run that. Okay, that should give me a new file. But not if I don't call the method. Does not work by magic. Brushes, repo root, go. Solution changes. Okay, so this looks pretty much like exactly what I wanted. Okay, so that handles the bundled theme. Now I want to do the custom color theme as well. Custom color. Boom, boom, boom. And that gets me that one. Now, do you compile? Because I'm curious what it's how it's gonna treat 2 resource dictionaries that have the same Yeah. Not surprised, because both of these resource dictionaries are declaring a X class, tying them to the same back in C# class. So I'm effectively going to need to kill off the non-generated one at some point. And it's probably just a matter of renaming this guy. Okay, so that gens the XAML. That gens the C# behind it. That gens the manager. I think that does just about everything I was hoping to generate. I think the big thing now is going through and updating that JSON file and then clearing out some of this old code. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, we're gonna check this guy in. Let's see. Switching to generating theming resources from a common JSON file. Boom. So we're gonna go there, commit the change. While we're in here, let's just rebase to make sure I'm not missing anything. I've learned rebase early and often because you never know what's gonna bite you. Let's take whatever's on master. This isn't code that's related to those changes. The master is almost assuredly correct. Continue rebase. Great. Great. Okay. Cool. And then push that sucker. Force push. Excellent. And then I'll bring my local master up to speed. Sweet. And go ahead and reload. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. Thank you for those of you who followed and subscribed. Hopefully that was interesting to people as far as going through and doing this. I'm probably going to poke at this a little more. I want to get that JSON file built out, but that's going to be boring grunt work for people. No problem, Justin Bieber. As always, thank you for coming and hanging out. Appreciate the questions as always. One thing to be aware of, I've been poking around at the idea of going through and putting together some shorter videos on YouTube, specifically around WPF learning. A lot of my more popular videos tend to be the ones that are really focused on kind of the getting started process. So I was thinking I might do a short series of those. Not sure exactly when those will start, but anybody not following YouTube, link, see there. Because I may go through and do that and just kind of try to keep them under 10 minutes of, here's getting started, here's new project, here's kind of some of the basics of the XAML syntax, and kind of try to do it in bite-sized chunks. That way people don't have to sit through, a 2-hour long stream like I normally do. That way, if it's a little more targeted and people just want to learn one particular topic, it focuses on that. So I've had people request kind of similar things in the past, so we'll see how that goes. With that, I'll tell everyone happy coding. See everyone next time.